I'm Nancy from UBTV, and for this week's news video, we're highlighting two Bristol networks working to raise awareness for widely shared problems within the community. We'll be broadcasting their hard work and unique efforts to help people. How did the society start and how did you join?
It started because during my undergrad, my mum was diagnosed with cancer and then she died at the end of my third year, and it was a really isolating year where I found it really hard to tell other students about my experience and speak to other people about what was happening, and it was very stressful. And then when I started my master's at UOB, I wanted to create a space where I could be with other students who are experiencing grief, whether that be grief because of a lost loved one or anticipatory grief, which is when someone you love is maybe very seriously ill. So it was over lockdown, so it had to be over Zoom. And I thought a good way of doing that would be through art, because it's a lot more relaxing than maybe having to be on Zoom all the time. And so I collaborated with the City of Bristol College, and we have a student who is a creative therapeutic practitioner come in and lead the sessions, and we had two that year, and they would come onto the Zoom call with us. We provided the materials that was funded by the SU, and we would do an activity together, and we did lots of different activity over the weeks, and it was really successful. So the next year we brought it in person, and we still had the creative therapeutic practitioners come along, so they came and brought their activities to us, and we came together as a group and would just chat and do lots of lovely art. And we were helped by Project Talk and Old Society here, and now we're helped directly by the SU, which is really great.
Speaking of the art, would you like to explain some of the examples that you've got here?
Yeah, I'd love to show you some of the things we've done. This is a lot of it's my own work, so you're not seeing all the other amazing stuff that all the other people do, but this is an example of some of the things we make. So recently we decorated CDs and LPs with Posca pens, which was really fun. We've used Mod Rock to create little people where we cover them in foil. We've created gratitude boxes where inside it's something that we're grateful for on a little card. We've done weaving and made little woven mandalas, and we've done collage and created like little cute characters with the magazines. And we've used clay. This is a representation of my grandparents' house with clay, which was really fun. And then just acrylics and all the usual. So, and then my favourite one is a huge collaborative piece we did quite a while ago, where lots of people each had a crayon colour each, and we just sort of fought to fill up as much space as possible.
Do you have any goals for the future of Bristol Grief?
Yeah, a big goal would be ensuring the group's longevity. It runs really well currently, but it would be great that if after people graduate there were more students who want to take on the role and continue making this group happen, so that students who are affected by grief in any way can find this group and do some fun, relaxing things in a really friendly environment.
So what would you say to someone who's thinking about joining a session who isn't sure yet?
I would say, firstly, check out our Instagram account at Bristol Grief. It shows all the stuff we do, and we show what we do every week. And we also will put little reminders up so you know when it's happening. And other things to know would be, you're not expected to talk about your experiences. I personally find that really, really difficult, but it's about coming to a space with other people who have a shared experience. So you don't have to go through that experience, but you have to tell someone that you're grieving. Everyone sort of knows, which is it's a nice space. And also to know that everyone's very friendly, and that all the materials provided, snacks are provided, and it's all free, and you get to come do a fun, relaxing thing, and you may feel nervous at the start, but hopefully you won't feel nervous at the end.
So what advice would you have with someone dealing with grief?
So practically, advice would be to contact the wellbeing services, and you can just let them know that this is happening, and they may be able to provide some services that can support you. As well as this group, this also exists. Also, practically on the Instagram account, I have a link tree which has a shared public document featuring a massive list of resources that are there to support you for anyone experiencing grief or anticipatory grief, or maybe isolation while they're at uni. And then I think another thing to say would just be like, you're not alone in this, and that it's really important to like reach out for support, and there's nothing wrong with you if you do reach out for support. It's an important part of being human, and take care of yourself is what I would say.
Hi, I'm Robin and I am the Managing Director of Girls Against Anxiety, CIC. I started Girls Against Anxiety back in the third lockdown. We were able to run because we were a support group, and it was a really funny time because obviously everyone was social distancing, we were masked up, we had to take everyone's head temperatures and make sure we were all not touching. I started it because I always struggled with my mental health, and the main thing that was recurring for me was anxiety. With my anxiety, it made me feel really, really alone, and I felt like no one ever understood me, understood what I was going through and how I felt, and I just felt like this outsider. And it wasn't until one day I was like, oh, that's making me feel really nervous, or that's making me feel like this, to someone. And they were like, oh my God, I feel like that too. And in that moment, I was like, wow, that made me feel better. That made me feel normal. It was that feeling that every time I did that, I felt more like it wasn't just me and that I wasn't alone, and that there were other people like me and going through the same similar feelings that I was going through that felt really scary and confusing. When I decided to start Girls Against Anxiety, my brother owned a community coffee shop, and at the coffee shop, that's where he'd helped people through the pandemic. So they had given out food bags and parcels, and I'd been a part of helping people there as well. That was like the beginnings of, oh, I really want to do something for my community. What can I do in my way? And that's how Girls Against Anxiety was born. We were able to run through the third lockdown, and then as normal, we grew and grew and grew from there, and I've been running it for about 2.5 years now. So we have our base in Paignton, Devon, and we run 4 groups there. So we have 2 18 to 25s and 2 under 18s. And then our brand new group is Bristol, which we run at Hamilton House, and that one is for 18 to 25-year-olds as well. I've met the most amazing people through doing Girls Against Anxiety, because everyone has that same mindset of they want to feel a part of something and they want to feel less alone, and like there are people there that can be a shoulder to cry on or cheer them on to try and do something that makes them feel scared or just live in this really scary world. At the sessions, when we first started, I did teach everyone how to make jewellery because I was a jewellery maker. So we made like bracelets and necklaces, and we had funding come in to supply that for everyone. As the group developed, I kind of wanted it to continue to grow and to change and to do something that everyone was enjoying. So once we kind of felt like we'd made everything, then we had one of the session girls come in, and they were showing us this journal and this like creative bullet journal, and everyone loved it. And I thought, wow, what a really meaningful, fun thing to own and to have and to take home. So we then got all the supplies for that. Even if you're not creative, you can just create this like consistent book full of like your deepest thoughts or emotions, or just do some doodles, or stick in loads of like magazines or pictures that you love, and it's just something you get to keep and take home, and that's yours, and like, you know, you never have to show it to anyone. That's what I always say. But yeah, and at those groups, you know, everyone gets round on a big table. I try and keep it under 10 or like 15, just so that we can all kind of stay in a big conversation. It's a really relaxed environment. It's something that I never wanted to feel like you were at therapy or that you were at group therapy. I didn't want people to come in and I'd be like, tell me all your anxieties. What are you going through? What's your trauma? Like, no. I want you to tell me or tell us that when you're ready and you feel comfortable to. Like, if we just talk about how annoying your mum is, that's cool too. The great thing about the group is that it's a peer-led support group. So we're in it to help each other. Like, I have bad mental health still and do. So, sometimes I still really need that. And the group has helped my mental health and what I go through immensely. I'm very, very grateful for everything it does for me, let alone what it's done for other people. My little goal was, big little goals were to make more groups. So the Bristol group was a really massive check, but that is at the moment funded, self-funded, and the hope is to find funding and get funding in the Bristol area, which we're trying to do at the moment. So if you want to come to Girls Against Anxiety, but you're feeling really anxious, obviously, and really nervous, I always say the hardest part is getting through the door. Once you're through the door, you see a bunch of lovely, welcoming, genuinely friendly people who all can relate to that tiny feeling, in a tiny way, to that feeling of anxiety. And know that no one is there to judge you. No one's there to make you feel silly, to make you feel small. We're all equal. And we just want to make sure that you're going to have a lovely time, maybe laugh, maybe cry. You can find us online at www.girlsagainstanxiety.com, where we have all our information, all the good stuff. And you can find our blog on there, the I Feel Lonely blog, where we're trying to curate a bunch of people that all have that feeling of anxiety and mental health issues, and create this blog filled with all these different types of people where you can relate to something online by seeing maybe someone that either sounds like you or looks like you or is going through something similar to you. We're also on Instagram at Girls Against Anxiety, and there we show our weekly groups in Paynton and Bristol, and as well try and share personal messages from people or experiences or just helpful little reminders throughout, your time online. But yeah, that's it. Thanks so much.